Yeah, welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David.
And I'm Gary.
And today we're going to talk
About the Democratic National Convention.
Woohoo! This was going to be a boring read only a few days ago.
Yeah,
Because
now it's
Democrats
exciting.
were pretty united behind Biden. But now there's going to be a little controversy fueled by the media.
Yep.
So let's take a look and see what the energy looks like around the Democratic National Convention. Now that there's a little bit of angst going on post-debate.
Yes,
Okay?
exactly.
Jump right in. Come on in.
For entertainment purposes only.
Foundation of the reading. People ask, why do I turn the cards upside down? Because my deck was upside down. My cards, I generally put them back in the deck the right way so that they always do that. I do read reversals, but it's based on the person and the energy. So the foundation of the reading is temperance. People need to get their tempers under control. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of emotions on here, but there needs to be detoxification and unity. In other words, the Democrats are going to need to... There's going to be some concerns about Biden's debate performance. Was that an anomaly, or is that how things are going to look at henceforth? And whereas the Republicans will fight and argue and have fist fights and stuff like that, the Democrats will sit down and talk. And that's what they need to do. They need to calm the F down and get these
bad
thoughts out of their heads and just reunite. Find the path forward. Two major arcana underneath it. And you're going to love the shadow card here.
Oh boy, because we know why they have to get united.
Exactly. So underneath it all, the reason why there's temperance is that there is this discontent that's being fueled by the devil himself. Trump and his allies and the media are all conspiring to cause drama in the Democratic National Convention, basically for ratings. I'm sorry, that's what it is.
So I think in this case, the devil could just simply be greed.
Yeah.
The greed of the news outlets, because controversy
sells advertising space.
Sells advertising space, gets clicks.
And if you have some congressmen who are buying into that, trying to get little social media clicks like the Marjorie Taylor Greens of this world, they might latch on to this because people will pay attention to them. And instead of going down this path, which is destructive, you need to detoxify and find your path forward. Three major arcana coming out of this thing, right out the chute. In the past, you got the Queen of Wands. There have been some people that have been suggesting that Biden should step down and that maybe Kamala Harris should be taking his place. Now, mind you, one of those people is Mike Johnson. And the last I checked, Mike Johnson does not represent the best interests of the Democratic Party nor the American people.
Yeah.
Because if he represented the best interests of the American people, he wouldn't have delayed the Ukraine funding for 6 months, as well as other funding that he held up. He is in the thrall of Donald Trump. So there are people that are trying to cause problems in this one. In the past, it was going to be a simple choice here, but the debate kind of screwed that up. Current situation, another major arcana, the Wheel of Fortune. Now it's time for the Democrats to decide their path forward. Whereas the Republicans, when I did this reading, they had the Eight of Swords. They're kind of trapped by tradition. The Democrats need to rule by progress. Who's going to get the work done that we need to get done?
Yeah. Who's going to communicate that message that needs to be sent out?
Right. And that Wheel of Fortune. Now it's time to spin the wheel. The fate of the country is decided on their decisions. Overarching energy is the High Priestess. They need to make white. Look at all these. Again, another major arcana. We got 5 now out of 6 cards. The High Priestess. This is the time to make the wise choices. It's what's in the best interest for the country, what's in the best interest for the Democratic Party. And it's country before party in this case. That's the opposite with the Republicans. The Republicans are party first. Country is a distant second.
Yep.
The Democrats need to choose wisely. The lesson to be learned is the Three of Wands. This is kind of waiting for your ship to come in. Nobody's going to make this decision for you. You're going to make it for yourself. The election's only 3 months off. The Democrats meet in August, so you've got September, October, and November, or basically the rest of August through that. 3 months. It's 3 short months. Do you really have time to search for a new candidate with only 3 months to go? People are, they're familiar with Biden. They know who Biden is. You bring in somebody else, you're bringing in an unknown, and that's...
Biden's got he's had a very good track record on what his accomplishments were. And if you promote Harris, or I guess you could do Gavin Newsom or some other rising star in the Democratic Party. Yeah. Now you've got to build a whole profile,
a whole brand on them.
Yeah, exactly.
And at that point, Trump's almost the incumbent on that point, because you've got one of the deciders usually is the incumbent is a point in the favor of presidents. Trump was an incumbent that didn't get reelected. You have to go all the way back to George Herbert Walker Bush in 1994 to find the last time an incumbent president, or 92, excuse me, wasn't reelected. Yep. And he was having a bad economy.
Yeah.
Which is where Clinton said, it's the economy's stupid. It's the only thing that set him off. The economy's doing fine. So, it may not be the right time to change ships. Don't change horses midstream.
Yeah. Your ship's coming in. You just have to be patient and wait for it to land.
Outcome is the Ace of Wands. Make your choice and then stand firm behind your choice. I still think it's going to be Biden.
Yeah, I do
simply
too.
Because Biden, this card came up when we did a Biden reading about going forward and, be talking with the people and doing a big public relations campaign to show folks that he still has the energy it takes to get the job done.
Yep, totally agree.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think it's Biden's going to be the candidate out of the DNC there.
Do not buy into the hype. Do not buy into the drama that the media is selling you.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for saying that, because normally I think of the media as being reliable and trustworthy. Especially when Trump says the mainstream media is full of fake news and stuff like that. They generally aren't. But in this case, they are creating their own news.
Yeah. It's all about the money.
It's about the money. And the other sad thing to throw out there is that a lot of the media outlets, especially the television media outlets, are owned by... There's like 9 media companies that own them, and most of them are conservative. So you think about it, if you were a conservative and you want Trump in there so that you can be an oligarch in the United States, you're going to do everything you can to make Biden look old and feeble, because this is your chance to be nobility and be a king.
Well, and think about it too. From a business standpoint, Trump creates headlines. He creates controversy, which creates views, viewerships, and sponsors. And you can charge more for your ad money if you've got more people viewing.
And the problem, though, for these stations is that you got to play the tape all the way through. If Trump becomes president, therefore king, what use does he have with the news media?
Yeah, unless you're super pro Trump,
you've got TASS is what you've got.
Yes, exactly.
You have the state-run media, and that's the only media you need.
Yeah.
Because anything else, if they're not fawning in their adjectives of him, are fake news, and then he will go after the owners of that news organization.
Yep.
Probably, take all their money, arrest the owners, take over the buildings, and absorb it into the government. So, you build up government wealth, and you get rid of free enterprise. Isn't that awesome? That's not the future you want?
Yeah.
Should have thought about that a little bit, huh?
So what else should we ask about the DNC? So we're both in agreement that Biden is going to be...
Let's just start. Will they nominate Biden?
Okay.
Or will there be drama around the nomination of Biden?
There you go. In the we just did a Republican National Convention. The redneck
riot card.
The redneck riot card came up, and it was about time too.
Okay, let's see what drama around Biden nomination. It's just you're gonna have to make your best pick, your best choices. Here's only gonna do a full quota on this one. Queen of Wands. This was in the past. You got to make your best choices going forward. He's the incumbent. He beat Trump in 2020. What makes you think you can't beat him again?
Yeah.
He's the one guy who has beaten Trump. And kind of in a way to put an end to his. We should put an end to the controversy.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going with it.
Put an end to the controversy. Look, he's your presidential candidate. He's got the numbers. He's not drooling in a cup, mentally damaged or anything along those lines. You're gonna ride that guy all the way in, and underneath it all is the star card. He has done more with less than any other president in our history.
Yep.
Well, and that might be hyperbole, but
recent history.
Certainly, you could not expect him to do much.
Yeah.
Especially now that the Democrats lost the House.
Yeah.
And they have basically what is a virtual tie in the Senate that's broken by Kamala Harris. So the fact that he's gotten as much done as he was able to is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of younger viewers, but for any of the younger viewers watching this, man, if you don't have both the House of Representatives and the Senate, it's very hard to push any kind of agenda forward.
Yeah, the House holds the purse strings. They are the ones that come up with the budget. The Senate are the ones that confirm judges and Supreme Court justices. And you have to have something that passes the House, goes to the Senate, has to pass the Senate, go back to the House for fixing, gets passed again, gets passed in the Senate, then goes to the maybe it doesn't go to the Senate again, but it has to go to the House, and then goes to the President for approval.
Right, and so like for example, student loan forgiveness. Pretty much the Congress or the House of Representatives has said no, we don't want this. Go away. These people signed up for this debt. Make them suffer.
Yeah, and they can't get rid of it through bankruptcy. You can get rid of every other debt through bankruptcy except this.
So Biden he's been able to forgive billions of dollars of student loans, but he's doing it all by himself. He's got no support around him. If he had the House and the Senate, believe me, there would be huge progress made in that area. So just for the younger viewers, I know sometimes you have some discontent with Biden that he's not making the progress that you were hoping he'd make. He's doing the best he can with what the hand he was dealt.
Yeah, you've got to give him a better hand. And the other thing is, think about this for a second. Why can you not get rid of student loan debt? Why is that so special? And it might just be that the powers that be, and I'm not talking about the Democratic Party, I'm talking about the ones that want an oligarchy in the United States, they want people uneducated. So if you went through college and got educated, you might be strapped with huge predatory loans. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to take any job you can, work yourself to the bone, and trying to pay this debt off. It's very difficult to pay off because the interest rates are high. And you may never have enough time to just sort of like breathe. Mm-hmm. And you might work yourself till you're sick. So even though you're educated, you're going to get sick. You can't get ahead. You can't get out from underneath this massive amount of debt. And you can't build your wealth because you're a threat to the powers that have the money.
Yeah.
So they've got to put their thumb on you. And that's the way they do that, is through crushing debt.
Yeah.
So if you get rid of that debt and all of a sudden, you can start living the American dream, you may not support an oligarchy. You might want stuff that supports the middle class.
Yeah.
You might actually get out and vote because you don't feel hopeless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you could not vote for Biden, but understand if you don't vote for Biden, you may as well just check the box for Trump because that's what you just did.
Right now, there is no bus that's going to take you to the house that you want to go to. The bus you're going to get on, think of the government. It's not a car that you drive to somebody's house. It's public transportation. They don't drop you off in front of the house where you want to be. Which bus, the Biden bus or the Trump bus, is going to get you at least into the neighborhood you want to be in.
Get you closer to where you want to be.
Exactly. You might have to walk the rest of the way, but one of them is going to get in the neighborhood and the other one's going to be a raging dumpster fire that's going to take you right over the cliff.
All right. So what else we got?
Spiritual lesson from the Democratic National Convention.
Okay, spiritual lesson.
Fight for what you believe in. Biden's going to be fighting. He's going to be fighting off all challengers on that one. He's going to show that he still has the energy. But here's the thing. He has to conserve his energy for fighting for the general election, too. So don't drain the guy in the convention because he's got 3 more months of fighting than he has to do.
There's
what are your
Ace of Pentacles again, man.
Where's your values? You got to choose your values. And then once you've chosen your candidate that best represents your values, push.
Yeah, this value is going to take you to a new beginning here.
Ten of Swords. Put an end to the discord. Put an end to the debate of, oh, what if? Stop the pearl clutching.
Yeah.
You don't get him across the finish line. He's your last presidential candidate.
Yeah.
If you don't get him across the finish line.
This is what democracy looks like if Biden does not get reelected.
Your government depends on it. It's up to the Democrats. Are you going to put a purity test, or are you going to put the guy in that's got the best chance of not becoming a dictator? The choice is yours.
Yep.
Choice is yours. What are your values? And right now, Gary and I would both urge you, put the purity tests away. It doesn't do anybody any good at this point. You want a purity test? You got to start voting people in at your local level. That's where the purity test starts. Mm-hmm. Local level, build up your local politics, then your regional politics, your state, regional, like county, then your region, your state, and then you can start doing it on a federal level. But if you don't have the foundation for a progressive agenda, you will never have a progressive agenda.
Right. The thing is, you could put Biden back in the White House, but if you don't give him the House of Representatives and Senate, he can't do anything.
Right. And then you need to basically have a grassroots campaign ready to go in your region, in your local community, in your county, in the region that you live in your state, so that he can have state supports too.
Yeah, all of the elections matter. All of the candidates matter. It's a team effort here. One person just can't do it all.
Yeah.
Well, the Supreme Court is kind of trying to tilt that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The Supreme Court's really made this a simple election. Who do you want to be the dictator of the country? Do you trust Biden to be a dictator who doesn't become a dictator? Or do you prefer Trump to be a dictator who doesn't become a dictator?
Yeah, the odds are Trump is going to fully embrace, and MAGA are going to fully embrace dictatorship. Because that's what he's wanted.
Yeah.
He admires all the dictators.
All the strongmen? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about, we had to look up Duarte because one of the things Trump wanted to do with Agenda 47 was execute all the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's what they did in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And while I can understand why people want to get behind that, it might be a bit
extreme.
Extreme.
Yeah. Because you got the drug dealers and the human traffickers, and then there's going to be some other group that all of a sudden gets in the crosshairs, and it could be something really bad, like transgender people.
Yes, exactly. Those terrible transgender people, drag queens reading books to kids or something like that.
Yeah, they're corrupting our children, and we should kill them.
Exactly.
Or put them in a freedom city or whatever those things are called.
It's a downward spiral, and it will downward spiral really, really fast because the minute they get that extremism in power, they never will give it up freely.
Yeah. So you got to vote not for just you. Vote for your kids. Your
grandkids, your neighbors, your nieces and nephews, your sisters and brothers, your parents. Yep. It's everybody.
Everyone is depending on us to get this right.
So get it done. Gary has something up on the community page to confirm your registration to vote. Double check. Go to that site, click down, pick your state, pick your area, add in the information you need. See if you're still registered to vote. Make sure like-minded people are registered to vote. Get out and vote. Vote numbers, as Glenn Kirshner would say, too big to rig and too something to steal. Yeah,
I didn't watch that one, so I can't help.
It's a common tagline of his. Too real to steal.
Oh, too real to steal.
It's basically gerrymandering and voter suppression works on a certain number of, it's to filter things by a few percentage points. But if you swamp it with, like we did in 2020, where you had the largest turnout ever, you swap that system, it will overrun the gerrymandering, overruns the voter suppression.
Yeah.
And if you can get that outdone, you can start changing the laws.
Yeah.
We missed our opportunity in 2020 because it's the state assemblies that set up the rules for every 10 years. And so you need to have control of the state assemblies. And most people don't know this. You need to have control of the state assemblies because they're going to draw the redistricting maps and those sort of things. And if you can get the Democrats in charge of a lot of the state assemblies, you can get rid of gerrymandering. Would be nice to have a law passed too.
Yeah,
the Supreme Court doesn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
And then you can get rid of Supreme Court members. If you have a supermajority, you can start impeaching Supreme Court members. So make sure you get your blue senators in there because they're the ones. You just need a majority in the House to impeach a Supreme Court justice, but you have to have 2/3 in the Senate to convict.
Yep. So let's get out there and vote, folks.
Get out there and vote.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I go through all of the comments and I respond to as many as I can.
All right. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.
Take care. Bye.